Today we're setting up a new shrimp tank with mini aquascape for my new rare and beautiful Caridina shrimp. Let's get started. Here's our tank, and it's 37 by 40 by 33 centimeter tall. I installed glass partition wall at the back of this tank to create an underground filter there. This is how I lately set up most of my shrimp tanks for Caridina, and I have a really good result with this method. Normally I make my UGF filters with 2 uplifting tubes, but this time I decided to make my filter only with 1 tube. I think it's going to be okay, and if I need an extra filtration I always can add a sponge filter on another side. I also created a small triangular area for plants by attaching a strip of glass in the corner. I did exactly the same thing in my other tank and I really like it. For this tank I use ADM Amazonia golden version, and it's awesome soil, very rich in nutrients, and it's lowering the water pH below 6. It works great for Caridina shrimp as well as for growing healthy plants in your tank. But be aware that this soil leaches ammonia for the first 8 weeks, but this ammonia works really well for cycle and it helps to create a well-established tank. You just need to be a little bit patient with the soil. After I finish with aqua soil, I sprinkle around 4 grams of bacterial powder on top of the substrate and I fill this tank with RO water. And now we just need to be patient and wait for a few weeks. Guys, I just checked the date and it's been 7.5 weeks since we start cycling this tank, and we have a slight issue here. Let me just show you. Take a look behind me. And guys, here we have a green water issue, and don't mistake it with the green dust algae like I normally have in my tanks when I cycle my tanks. This time we have a different type of algae which floating in the water, and that makes the water green like that. So today we try to fix this issue because it's not good to have it in your tank, and I had a few comments from you guys. Some of you experienced this as well, but for me it's first time. I never had it before. So I don't know why it's happened and I cannot tell you right now. And I think, guys, we need to start with the water change. So let's do a massive water change in this tank, clean it up and see if it's gonna help. And if you take a look at this water, it's so green, guys. It's been another week just passed from my last update, and I have a great news. The water in the tank became clear again. You can see the tank behind me. And by the way, the water change didn't fix that issue. In a few days the water became green again. So I found another great solution how to fix that problem. Let me show you. And the easiest way to get rid of the green water in your tank is adding some floating plants. As you can see, I have lots of floating plants on top of the surface. I only added about a quarter of this amount. They multiply like crazy. And you might ask how the floating plants get rid of the green water. Well, we have a brand new tank here, and our new soil releases a lot of nutrients into the water column. And because we don't have any plants inside the tank to consume these nutrients, we have an algae bloom. That's why we have a green water. So our floating plants is sucking a lot of nutrients from the water. They also block a lot of light, so our green algae start to die off. So we find a great solution for that. I'm very pleased we sorted this problem out. Now we can add some plants and prepare this tank for shrimp. Let's do it. I just got a few plants arrived today by post, which I'm planning to use for our new setup. And here I have some Rotala Bonzai, very nice little cute plant, which I used before in my other setup, so I want to use it again. I very like it. And I also got some new carpeting plant, which called Eleocharis hydropiper. I hope it's saying it correct. I saw some video and pictures of this plant and it looks fantastic, so I hope it's gonna be growing alright in our new tank. So let's plant them in, yeah? I'm just about to prepare all the plants for planting. I want to show you this little cute carpeting plant which I never used before. Very nice, looking good, looking like little drops here. I hope it's gonna grow nice. So we have Rotala Bonzai here. Yeah, I used it before in my other setup, in this one. And I very like it. Take a look at this plant. Here you go, guys. It's been just over the week since we added plants into this tank. Our Rotala Bonzai doing fantastic. It started to stretch a little bit, but the other plant, the carpeting plant, I already forgot the name. So this plant is not doing great, I would say, because I can see some yellow leaves and some yellowing on this plant. So I'm not quite happy about that. I never used it before. Maybe it's not gonna work in our tanks. Maybe it needs CO2. So I a little bit regret I didn't plant HC Cuba because it's my favorite plant. For example, in this tank, my shrimp paradise tank, you can see we've got some HC Cuba in this triangular spaces, and it grows fantastic here. I'm absolutely happy about this plant. The shrimps love it. So guys, what I'm thinking, I've got a little bit of dwarf hair grass left from my other setup, and it's here, just one pot left. I already opened it, and I don't want to waste it, and I think I want to add a little bit of this hair grass into this area as well. right, it looks much better with the hair grass. So now it's time to add some mosses here, and I've got some new type of moss recently. This moss is called hookah moss. I'm gonna pop the full name on the screen because it's quite difficult to remember. So the shrimps absolutely love this moss, and it's grown like a little stems. And I already put a little bit of this moss on the coconut. You see that over there, and it started to grow. So we're gonna move this coconut into the new tank because I have two of them, one here as well. Lovely moss. I'm very happy to get it because I was looking for that for many months. So now I can grow it in my tanks. And guys, if you take a look inside this tank, you can notice that this glass is almost completely clean of the dust algae, and I didn't clean it myself. I've got a little issue. I've got little creatures which start to multiply inside this tank and basically in all my tanks, and they look like a little tiny oysters. Many of them here on the glass, and they start to consume this dust algae. Most of you would say, yeah, I have a clean tanks now, but you know, this is the good food for the shrimp, and they basically just eat all the food for my shrimps, little bastard. Very easy to transfer them. For example, if I move this piece of moss into this tank, this little creature is gonna get to this tank, gonna multiply and eat this algae as well. So this happened in almost all my tanks now. So if you can see in my other tanks, it's also, we don't have much of the algae left because of that little creatures. You can see little oysters which start consuming this algae. And here my other tank with master soil, and you can see the glass here is completely clean of the algae. It's zero algae here. And here I have a coconut shell which has just moved from another tank, and the shrimps all over it, you know. What I did actually, I just did a haircut of this moss here. I just trimmed this moss and I created a new arch of the moss, and I put it in this tank here for 1 week or so. And now I decided to move it here because I don't want to use it in my new tank. It's just because I prefer to use the moss which already start to grow in my new setups because it looks better in the video. Yeah, so the shrimps love it because there's lots of biofilm on it, and take a look at them. Wow, so many of them here. And guys, for my shrimp tank setups, I normally use this beautiful bogwood which called mapani wood. Okay guys, we just made these two little pieces. I think they look good. Take a look inside this tank, guys. It looks beautiful already, but I think we're still missing something, and this right hand side corner look a little bit empty. Why don't we put a glass bubble there? And already prepare it here. So we could put this glass bubble, stick it over there, and plant some fast growing plants, like stem plants. It's gonna look fantastic, I think. So also, I'm thinking to put this chala wood with Fissidens moss. I think we have plenty of plants inside this tank, so we can borrow some of them. Here you go, guys. Take a look inside this beautiful tank. It's been 5 days since my last update. What I did, I added a little bit more plants inside this glass pot. You can see we added some Ludwigia super red, Rotala wallichii, another green plant which I don't remember the name. Yeah, the tank doing fantastic. I'm very pleased with the amount of plants we have here. It's not too much, it's not too little. It's perfect for shrimps because we still want to see the shrimps, and this is gonna be our breeding tank. I just prepared everything for shrimp. I gave this tank a good clean, and I scraped algae from the glass. I also did a massive water change. I know this algae is beneficial for shrimp, but don't worry about that. It will grow back here in no time because we still have a fresh soil here. I just want to keep this tank nice and clean for now. It just looks better this way. And guys, here my shrimp wonderland tank, and I have a piece of bogwood with Bucephalandra here in this tank as well. And as you can see, we have a little problem here. We got some Blackbeard algae on the leaves of Bucephalandra, and I hate this algae. It looks disgusting, guys. So I want to try to treat it, and that's why I got algae treatment I bought online. It's not sponsored or anything. I just read a good review about this product, so I want to try it. So guys, I don't want to take a risk and dose this product into the tank with my expensive, beautiful and sensitive shrimps. So instead I want to take this plant out from the tank, put it in a little container and just add this product and leave it for a day or two, and then we're gonna see if it's worse or not. So this bottle comes with this little pipette, and I'm gonna dose about 5 milliliter of this product into like 600 milliliter of water I have in this jug. That should be more than enough, and hopefully it's gonna kill this algae. So it's one pipette is 3 milliliter, so we put about 5 milliliter inside. We just mix a little bit. So now let's put this piece of wood with Bucephalandra inside that little jar. So make sure there's no shrimp in this wood. I don't want to put shrimps inside this. I think they're gonna die straight away. We have quite a lot of babies inside there. Oh, you can see this little baby just came from the leaves, so I need to shake it a lot. Hopefully there's no more shrimps inside this wood, and we'll simply drop it here inside this water. I might put a little bit more water just to cover these leaves, and now we're gonna leave it for, I would say, 3 or 4 days, and then I'm gonna return this plant into the tank and we're gonna see if it works or not. Alright guys, very excited moment. We just received our shrimps in the post in this little box, so let's open them up and see what we got inside. Alright guys, it's been like 3 hours we're acclimating these shrimps. It's a good thing to do it nice and slow once you receive your new shrimp and you want to move them in your tank. Alright guys, I just move all the shrimps in this little acrylic box, so let's properly look at them. I had never seen that shrimp before. They are gorgeous. We have 26 shrimps here. I got 6 shrimps extra from the seller. I'm going to leave a link to his eBay listing in my description box. If you are in the UK, you can grab them as well. So enough talking, let's put them in. Here you go guys, now let's put them in their new home. Finally guys, we've got our shrimps here. They are so beautiful. I'm not surprised why they call it crazy blue. The blue colors is absolutely insane. It's like a blue bolt on steroids. It's relatively a new shrimp. I first time heard about that a year ago or so, and I'm very happy to have it in my collection now. Don't mistake the shrimp for blue steel or blue bolt. It's completely different type of shrimp. Every crazy blue shrimp is unique and can have all shades of blue and white patterns, and some shrimp even can have a back stripe. Take a look at this big mama here. She's gorgeous. Big thanks to the seller who sent me a few adult females and males. That means they can breed straight away. I'm very excited to see some babies here, hopefully in the near future. I'm 100% sure that these shrimps will do well here, because we spent so much time creating a well-established tank with plenty of natural food for shrimp and perfect water parameters with low pH. You can see on these macro shots we have so many copypods in this tank. That's tiny little bugs. And it's always a good sign for a healthy ecosystem. Some of you will watch this and be like, oh, I want to keep this beautiful Caridina shrimp too. A little bit advice for you. When you set up your new shrimp tank, make sure you cycle it long enough. Be patient, don't add your shrimps too early. Always use a good aqua soil and remineralized RO water. Never use tap water and you'll be fine. It's been 3 days just past since we put Bucephalandra in this treatment liquid. So let's take it out and see what we have. I can still see some algae on the leaves, but we're gonna see it properly once we put it in the tank. Let's put it back in the tank. It's just 1 hour past since we put these plants in the tank, and take a look. We have some holes already in the leaves. I think some of the plants just die off because of this stuff is quite strong. I read the instruction, it say like it's don't use it on the sensitive plants. And I think the Bucephalandra, I didn't know the Bucephalandra is sensitive plants. So you can see the shrimps now is just consuming all the dead plants and making the holes in the leaves. Alright, it's been about 1 week since my last update on this algae treatment, and take a look at this algae right now. It's turned out white color now, so very good, and it's almost completely gone. So I would say we successfully treated this algae, because it's in a week or so. I think it's gonna go away completely. It's just only a little bit left. So in the future I'm gonna use half of the dose I used before because of that sensitive plants. You can see that Bucephalandra at the bottom has some holes in the leaves. I think this is a different type of Bucephalandra, more sensitive than at the top. So yeah, definitely a good stuff, and I'm gonna use it in the future. It's been exactly 1 week since we had a shrimp here, and I'm back for a quick final update. I'm very pleased with this tank, the shrimp doing great, they are very happy and active. The plants look nice and healthy, except maybe for Anubis on a piece of wood, and I'll be honest with you, it's totally my fault. Before I put this plant in the tank, I noticed a little bit of Blackbeard algae on the leaves, so I decided to drip no algae solution directly on the leaves, and that actually killed the algae as well as the leaves on the plant. So lesson learned, it's way too strong to use it by itself. That's not a big deal, the leaf's gonna regrow in a few months. And take a look at the glass walls, that green dust algae started to grow back here. I'm not gonna clean it again, it's a very good food for the shrimp. By the way, I haven't fed the shrimps yet, so let's drop them some food and see if they're hungry or not. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to support me, just watch to the end and enjoy the macro shots of our new beautiful shrimp. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.